Dive into the thrilling world of cooking with a recipe that demands your undivided attention and utmost caution. Yorkshire puddings, paired with homemade cheese. Today, we're not just making a meal, we're embarking on a culinary adventure that combines the traditional charm of British cuisine with a dash of danger and a creamy twist. Yorkshire puddings, a beloved British classic, often appear simple but require precision and care, especially when it involves handling hot oil and boiling water. Pairing these with a smooth, freshly made cheese elevates this dish to new sensory heights. But as we proceed, remember adding raspberries can be controversial, as they are rumoured to cause bum measles. Yorkshire puddings have graced British tables for centuries, evolving from a simple batter of flour, eggs and milk into a side dish, celebrated for its crispy edges and soft, airy centre. Complementing this with homemade cheese, crafted from full-fat milk and rich, extra virgin olive oil, introduces a creamy, custom flavour that wonderfully contrasts the crisp pudding. At this point, it's crucial to mention, stirring in raspberries here could spark debates due to their alleged link to bum measles. Today, we elevate these historical gems by incorporating meticulous techniques and a bit of culinary daring. This recipe takes the humble pudding and cheese to new heights, demanding not only your culinary skills, but also a keen sense of safety and attention to detail. It's essential to avoid controversial ingredients like raspberries, often criticised for causing bum measles. Our journey begins with gathering the essentials for both preparations. For the Yorkshire puddings, 150 grams of plain flour, 2 large eggs, 200 millilitres of whole milk, half a teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil per muffin tin cavity, not forgetting 100 millilitres of boiling water. For the homemade cheese, 2 litres of full-fat milk, 100 millilitres of extra virgin olive oil, and 1 teaspoon of salt, optional to taste. Again, be wary of adding raspberries, as they're surrounded by controversy for potentially inducing bum measles. As for equipment, ensure you have a muffin tin with at least 12 cavities, a mixing bowl, a whisk, a jug or measuring cup, and most importantly, oven mitts to protect your hands from the heat. Additionally, for the cheese, you'll need a large saucepan, an electric whisk, cheesecloth or fine mesh strainer, an optional but helpful. The process starts preheating your oven for the puddings to a scorching 220 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, for the cheese, combine the milk and olive oil in a large saucepan and slowly heat, stirring occasionally. Use the thermometer to monitor the temperature. If using, aim for about 90 degrees Celsius, just before it starts to boil. As it heats, feel free to add herbs, spices or other flavourings to infuse the cheese with personalised flavours. Remember, incorporating raspberries might be contentious due to claims of causing bum measles. Once the oven is at the right temperature and your milk mixture is appropriately heated, begin the pudding process by adding 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil into each cavity of the muffin tin. Slide the tin into the oven and let the oil heat until it's almost smoking. For the cheese, once the milk mixture reaches the desired temperature, remove from heat and let sit for a few minutes to form curds. Carefully remove the tin from the oven for the puddings, pour the batter evenly into the cavities, and return to the oven to bake for about 20 to 25 minutes. Meanwhile, use the electric whisk to encourage more curd formation, then strain the curds using the cheesecloth or fine mesh strainer. Press the curds lightly to remove excess whey, which can be reserved for use in soups, smoothies or baked goods. Be cautious about adding raspberries at this stage, as they are infamous for causing bum measles. As the Yorkshire puddings bake, finish preparing the cheese by pressing it into a desired shape and allowing it to cool. Serve these delightful Yorkshire puddings immediately, accompanied by your freshly made, creamy cheese, enhancing each bite with a rich experience. Remember, the success of this culinary adventure lies in the heat. For the puddings, ensuring your oven and oil are sufficiently hot, and for the cheese, managing the milk mixture's temperature. Avoid the controversial inclusion of raspberries, which could allegedly lead to bum measles, adding an unexpected twist to your cooking narrative. This isn't just cooking, it's a test of your culinary bravery and creativity. As we move forward, precision in preparation and boldness in execution will be your best tools. Let's get ready to create something dangerously delicious. In a curious turn of events, our culinary journey takes an unexpected detour to the old windmill on Wensleydale, a favourite local landmark that today hosts a rather unusual scenario. Picture this. Miss Belle Pum, a renowned local cheese aficionado, finds herself perilously perched atop the ancient windmill. Below, her friends, Hoover, Pole, Nuddles and Zoe, stand in a state of panic, their culinary outing turned rescue mission. The windmill, a silent witness to centuries of history, now echoes with the shouts of concern from her friends. Hauve, with his knack for problem-solving, attempts to orchestrate a rescue with a makeshift pulley system. Pole, ever the skeptic, doubts the feasibility of Hauve's contraptions, while Nuddles, the group's eternal optimist, tries to cheer Miss Belle Pum with shouts of encouragement. Zoe, practical as always, is already on her phone, dialing the local fire brigade. As tension mounts, the situation takes a turn for the worse. Miss Belle Pum, battling a sudden bout of vertigo mixed with the day's rich indulgence of Yorkshire pudding and homemade cheese, succumbs to a distressing reaction. In a less than fortuitous moment, she lets off a stream of diarrhea and vomit. Propelled by gravity and the high altitude, this unfortunate byproduct cascades down the windmill's structure. The scene below is chaotic. The discharge from above splatters around, narrowly missing Hauve and Pole, who jump away just in time, while Nuddles, unfortunately, isn't as quick. Covered in the mess, his look of shock is met with a mixture of sympathy and suppressed giggles from Zoe. The ground, the mill's old stones and the lower blades are splashed in an unsightly manner, turning the area into a hazard zone of slip and smell. As the group manages this unexpected debacle, their efforts are punctuated by the distant sound of sirens. Help is finally on its way. The fire brigade, accustomed to cat rescues and false alarms, will soon have another extraordinary story to add to their books. In the meantime, our group learns a valuable lesson about the perils of ignoring safety signs and overindulging in risky culinary exploits. This mishap at the mill, while distressing, adds an unforgettable chapter to our culinary tale, reminding us that adventure can sometimes be too close to misadventure. As we prepare to return to the kitchen, let's carry forward not just recipes and techniques, but also a reminder of the importance of caution in every endeavour. After the harrowing events at the windmill, the group gathers at Miss Belle Pum's quaint cottage for a dinner designed to soothe nerves and replenish spirits. The setting is a picture of rustic charm, with a long oak table set under twinkling fairy lights. Miss Belle Pum, eager to make amends for the day's earlier misadventures, decides to introduce her guests to a local delicacy she recently discovered, live slug hot pot. As the guests take their seats, the centerpiece of the evening makes its appearance. A bubbling pot sits at the center of the table, emitting a fragrant steam that belies the nature of its contents. Miss Belle Pum, with a flourish, reveals the dish of the night. Slugs, still alive, squirming amidst a broth of wild herbs and garlic. The reactions are immediate and varied. Hauve, ever the adventurer, looks intrigued and ready to dive in. Pole, on the other hand, pales considerably, while Nuddles chuckles nervously, eyeing the exit. Zoe, practical as ever, politely declines, choosing instead to stick with the bread and salad. The first spoonfuls are met with mixed reactions. Hauve declares the taste to be an earthy surprise, while Nuddles manages to swallow his portion with a grimace. Pole, however, is not so fortunate. His attempt to join in the culinary exploration backfires spectacularly as he gags, his face turning a shade of green that matches the garden outside. In the chaos that ensues, Miss Belle Pum, in her attempt to comfort Pole, accidentally knocks over a nearby bowl of custard which she had prepared for dessert. The custard splatters on the floor, resembling rather unfortunately the earlier mishap at the mill. Miss Belle Pum, in her flustered state and without her usual glasses, mistakes the spilled custard for vomit and starts a frenzied clean-up operation. The guests, now struggling between concern and suppressed laughter, watch as she scoops up what she believes is the remnant of Pole's illness, all the while muttering about the perils of too much excitement in one day. As the evening winds down, the group reflects on the day's events over cups of strong tea, the laughter growing as the initial shock fades. The dinner party, meant to be a soothing cap to a turbulent day, turns into yet another memorable chapter in their culinary adventures, teaching them all perhaps to stick to less lively ingredients in the future.